Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. Today, we'll be looking at organizations and how we can evolve the various process with agile transformations. It's a big piece of work, and these are some of the experiences I've shared working with clients. I'm more taking a look at it from a senior management level and sharing a little bit about what happens among teams. For transformations to work, we need to go through a bit of a tough change. And when we look at such changes, they are not that easy. A discussion we had quite recently with a client was looking at it from the way the eagle transforms. And we were all mesmerized with how the eagle goes through its transformation process to soar higher after many years. So when you look at an eagle, the eagle is born after many years, it grows its feathers, it becomes strong, and it soars in the skies for many, many years. And then one day the eagle has to what? Go through a molting process. It's impacted by how it has to spend some time um, developing new wings, developing strong beaks, and then going back and soaring in the sky. And these same exercises most organizations will go through when they are going through an agile transformation. So we'll touch on some key things most organizations can do. What's important when organizations go through agile transformation is they need to align their strategy, their portfolio to all the delivery units within the organization. And sometimes we do get questions around where is agile applied within the organization and which particular area of the organization applies agile. A report from this 14th State of Agile report shows clearly that software development is the highest area where agile transformations are being applied. Often it starts from a team level and then later is scaled across the strategic leadership level. What we tend to look at now is how can we apply agile practices within other parts of the organization so that these practices enable all those parts of the organization get the business benefits, both quantitative and qualitative, as experienced within the software environment. So the focus is how can we look at it from a systems thinking perspective, which is one of the key points I'll be leaving you with when you start thinking about agile transformation. Think about it in a systems thinking approach. Yeah. So strategy. It happens at leadership level. We need to spend time developing the strategy. And when we develop the strategy, we also need to execute that strategy. It takes quite a lot of time. It takes quite a lot of effort delivering that strategy. If I were to go into an organization, working as a scrum master, working as a product owner, working as a release train engineer or an agile coach, or working with the execs, I really need to constantly look at what the strategy is. Where are they going? Is it clearly defined in the organization strategy that we are going to be using agile practices? If it's not, let's take a step back. Let's speak to the leadership team and put that in the strategy. If it's well defined in the strategy, we know that we've already got leadership buy-in and it enables us in implementing it. We'll get the buy-in, we'll get the support, and constantly we'll get the sponsorship. For the last few years, what I've noticed is Agile talk is no more at the team level. It's also having a lot of talk within the leadership level, which is very good. And now it will also go into other areas of the business. When we look at organizations, most of them are made up of two areas: the operational value stream and then the development value stream. The operational value stream focuses at delivering the day-to-day activities, which is the BAU, and they deliver services to the customer. If we fail to deliver services to our customers, we will not be in business. And if our development value streams as well do not deliver new products, new processes, new services, the operational value stream at a point in time becomes stagnant and does not evolve to meet the current changes within the market. So constantly, we should be looking at these two value streams with a systems thinking mindset. What are some of the reasons why organizations, both large and small, adopt Agile? This is some of the key things we've identified from the 14 states of Agile report. Accelerate software delivery, which has been one of the key areas we all know has led to Agile ways of working. To enhance the ability to deal with changing priorities, to increase productivity, to improve business and IT alignment, and to reduce project risk, to improve project visibility. All these key things are things that most organizations who are thinking of bringing agile ways of working to evolve their current operations and their development value stream, these are key things they are looking at. They are the drivers for adopting Agile within organization. And if you have to share why we should adopt Agile to any key business strategic advisor, this is a slide you could always fall back on, and it helps develop capabilities across the organization. So what are the 4 steps when we get to the tipping point? First, I recommend we develop a strategic roadmap for executing the Agile strategy within the organization. I'll touch on that. Second, let's apply systems thinking and value stream mapping. We've touched on some elements of value stream mapping, but we will touch again on systems thinking and how systems thinking enables the entire value stream mapping process. Thirdly, let's select a framework for the transformation. And finally, let's build capabilities to problem solve. These are key 4 steps that I constantly discuss with senior execs. What's our strategic roadmap? Can we apply a holistic approach, which is the framework of choice? There are multiple millions of frameworks out there. Which ones should we go for? And then let's build capabilities to problem solve. First, what's our strategic roadmap? We should look at the 3 months to 1 year strategic roadmap. And this is what enables us to kick off the entire process. We don't want to wait until we've created all the long-term plans, all the big plans. We're going back in an agile strategic, we are going back to a waterfall strategic approach. Let's start with the 3 months and the 1 year roadmap. And at the end of each quarter, we would revise our current strategy, evolve the strategy, and align it to what we've learned. One of the benefits of using an agile process is we have abundance of feedback on the process, feedback on the product, and feedback on progress. So if we are applying that 3-month cycle or 3-month point where we constantly reviewing what we've done so far and what we can improve in the entire process, it helps us select the right objectives, the right activities, and then we can execute over the years. So let's look at our roadmaps carefully. A roadmap can be, for the 1 year roadmap, we can put it this way. And this is a roadmap I shared with another team quite recently whilst sharing on how to build roadmaps. It's a set of activities. We only commit to the current roadmap. We don't commit to the whole year's roadmap. We focus on the current roadmap. So if we're starting now, what's our current focus? Let's look at the May activities. That is our focus. What do we need to do now? Everything in October, everything beyond October can change, but can we focus on the May and implement the May activities? If we can implement those activities in our roadmap, it helps us to start delivering and measuring value. We can measure value on progress, At the end of the quarter, we can measure value on the process, team capabilities, and all those are helping us evolve into an agile organization. Number two, again, apply systems thinking. Systems thinking enable us to take a holistic approach. The system we are building is part of the organization. The various teams involved are part of the organization. Understanding that value streams are all part of the organization. And when we take that systems thinking approach, we are able to make decisions that impact the roadmap. I've seen teams start an agile transformation, and what they focused on is just the teams. But the teams don't make up the entire organizations. There are other components of the organizations that we have to think about. One of the areas that has been left behind is the operational value stream. The operational value stream for many years has been left behind on the agile journey. But the areas that I've picked up are HR, finance. I happen to train experienced marketing team. They are also on the journey. Procurement, customer service, logistics, all these areas are looking at how they can apply agile practices. They don't have to go all out and say, okay, we're going to be a scrum team. No, there are agile practices that they can look at and bring into their areas of work to help evolve the current culture within the organization. So let's take that holistic approach. It's not only the development team, it's not only the agile teams. Let's look at the other areas within the business, develop a roadmap for them to help them also deliver strategic business objectives for the organization. Selecting a framework. Since 2001, there's been a plethora of frameworks out there that are helping organizations build agile processes within their organizations. Frameworks for teams are Scrum, XP, Kanban, and elements of DevOps. These are frameworks that have got some material or resources behind it that you could always go and pick them up and start applying. But they are great for teams. But when you look at large enterprises, which I have been engaging with, you realize that we can't just be doing Scrum, we can't just be talking Kanban. We need to look at frameworks that scale. And when we scale, we have complexity, there's complication, and we have to constantly rethink which frameworks of choice would help us deliver strategic value. Personally, I'm a safe person. So when you ask me any questions, I won't be able to tell you more about Scrum at scale. I'm just too biased and I accept it. Because why do I say that? When I initially got my legs into Agile, it was with the Skilled Agile framework. And I was then the director of communication at the PMI, working with various organizations. And in that role, I experienced how one of our sponsors shifted from our PMI framework, which is a framework of choice, to Agile, and they went directly to SAFe. And when I had discussions with a key contact within the organization, he said, when we adopted SAFe, it was quite different from just adopting Scrum or Scrum at scale. We trained our leaders, we had training for the portfolio, we had training for the teams, and everyone sang the same song. So we all knew what SAFe was about, and we could have discussions around the SAFe framework. Aligning leadership, aligning the heads of service, aligning the various units within the organization, and bringing operations along is what SAFe offers. SAFe brings in your operational value stream. So at the top here, what you can see is your operational value stream is brought on the journey. And that is how you can align the entire organization. The rest of this area is all the development value stream. And the development value stream are constantly delivering new features, new products and updates. But the area that serves the customer is the operational value stream. And the SAFe framework emphasizes that we must bring the operational value stream on this journey. When we take a look at the SAFE framework, it also supports our fourth point. Our fourth point here is to build capacity. Build capacities, yeah. Build capabilities to problem solve. Our people are the best we can have. I don't want to call them resources because we've called people resources over the years. They are our talents. If we can build capabilities to problem solve for the long term, then we are ensuring that the transformation journey we've been on, we've been able to learn, we've trained our people, they've gained the necessary skills, and they can sustain the transformation for the long term. Having a transformation for the short term without building that long-term purpose would have what made the entire process not worthwhile. So let's think about building the capabilities. How do we build the capabilities? First, let's identify skills gaps, provide the necessary trainings. Let's develop communities of practice within the teams. Let's get people to share their knowledge. Let's share successes. Let's share wins. And when we do all of this, we are creating a sustainable transformation for the long term. Of course, all transformations have challenges, and these are some of the challenges for transformations. And when we go through those challenges, we definitely us as well hope we can get the necessary benefits from the challenges. So our challenges would impact the way we deliver our agile transformations, but there are benefits as well of adopting agile. Ability to manage changing priorities, creating that project visibility, delivery speed and time to market, building the team morale, reducing project risk. All these are core benefits. A project risk can impact the project if not properly identified and properly dealt with. So we constantly need to make sure that we've identified the challenges and manage the challenges, and as well, let's celebrate the benefits of going the agile way and share it across the organization. The more we communicate, the more we share it across the organization, we can get the best outcomes for the transformation in both the operational and development value stream. So, what are my key takeaways for today's session? My four key takeaways: develop a strategic roadmap for executing the agile strategy, apply systems thinking and value stream mapping, select a framework for the transformation, and build capabilities to problem solve. I've done a high level view. If you need more information, do contact us. We help organizations on that journey. And thank you for joining us today on our session. Any questions?
So basically, you're saying we both do the organizational value stream work as well as the development value stream work in line and parallel with each other. That's what you're basically saying.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Yusuf.
Hi, William.
Yeah.
It was a very good session.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking this week, Friday, I have a meeting with top IT um, executive, and the discussion is about IT strategy.
Yeah.
So how I was just wondering, I mean, with this, um, when I'm going to discuss with them, when I'm going to discuss with those IT people, how we can, incorporate this agile strategy, how we can combine IT strategy with agile strategy.
Okay. So the IT strategy is what we develop, and then that's developing the strategy at the development phase. And then executing the strategy is the second phase. So the first phase is okay, what's our current state? What are the key activities that we need to look at for our current state? Once we understand our current state, what is the current architecture gap between our current state and our future state. So the IT strategy shouldn't be drawn alone with the heads of IT. We need the enterprise architects. What the enterprise architects will provide us with our current technology architecture, looking at it from our current business position and what are the current gaps impacting our business activities. Then they look at data. What's the current data needs? Are we using big data, or do we need to start looking at how we can store our large volumes of data? Then there's a need to look at the applications. In terms of our current applications, are there any new applications that we need to bring into our fold of applications to support us to deliver to our customers for the long term? Then we need to also look at our current infrastructure, the hardware, either cloud, or look at robotics or automation. What are the key things that we need to bring to support us for the short term and the long term? That is taking a holistic approach towards our IT architecture. And the moment we build that understanding of our business data applications and technology, we can then identify a roadmap of activities that we need to implement in the first quarter, over the second and third quarter. And if it's also around bringing in development teams or infrastructure teams as well, we think about the people capability over the first quarter, second quarter, and the long term to help us have that holistic strategy in place. Great when we've created the strategy, next is implementing the strategy. We can then use agile practices or agile frameworks to implement those strategies. I hope, I know I've given you a full something to ponder over and think about. Yeah. It's more taking that holistic approach. All right. Business, data, applications, and technology, building that understanding, creating that strategic document, then focusing on looking at it from the execution phase. What can we do? What frameworks can we use to execute it? We can select an agile framework of choice. And I would always recommend we use a safe framework.
Hello, William.
Hi.
Please, there's a question in the chat box from Shirley.
All right.
So it goes, what's a typical size of organization you help?
So what's the typical size of organizations I've been helping? I've been working with Philips, which has over 40,000 people. And I'm also currently having discussions with the company, global as well, with over 1,000 people. And usually I would say I could be working with very small organizations, startups, and I could also be working with large organizations. The key things I've talked about here can be applied in both organizational setups, whether you're small, medium, and large scale. But if you're a large scale organization, we talk about SAFE. If you're small organizations, we're building that Scrum practices for you to have that strong Scrum capability and apply some of the SAFE good practices that would help your organization be successful. Okay. As we don't have any hands up and the session is planned for 30 minutes, I would first like to thank everyone who's joined. And we know that in today's age and time, we've got hackers in all spheres of life. Protect yourself, protect your passwords, protect all the activities, and just make provisions for them. We discussed about having a hacker join us, and lo and behold, we had them join us. And in the future, the only things we can do is to mute everyone, which does not encourage that continuous conversations. But I hope you understand it's for us to run a smooth and effective sessions. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you join our next session, and have a wonderful day. It's been a pleasure engaging you all. Thank you.